Hi friends, a very good morning to all of you. My name is Captain Joshi, aka Joe, and I am talking to you from Gurgaon right now. Well, ये जो वीडियो है, it will be a combination of both English and Hindi. The reason I'll be speaking majorly in English is because a lot of my um, followers and critical analysts on the YouTube channel, I would want to have a communication with them so that they understand what I need to tell and make sense out of this whole video. Well, I'll be covering two aspects in this video. The first is about a lot of questions which people ask me on why the army needs to fight with sticks, knife and unarmed. बहुत से लोग मुझसे पूछते हैं कि ये क्यों ज़रूरी है कि जो मेरी जो वीडियोस होती है ट्रेनिंग वीडियोस उसके अंदर इंडियन आर्मी जो है जिसको मैं ट्रेन करता हूँ वो अनआर्म्ड कॉम्बैट क्यों सीख रही है, लाठी डंडे और नाइफ की क्या ज़रूरत है, वेपन या फायर आर्म क्यों नहीं डिप्लॉय कर सकते. सो आई वुड वांट टू टेल यू अ फ्यू थिंग्स ऑन दिस. फर्स्टली, we have a certain protocol and certain defense agreement. About the Chinese border where we had the Galwan tragedy in which a lot of Indian Army personnel got sacrificed, and we also killed a lot of PLA troops. But the matter of the fact is neither did they use firearms nor did we, because we are bound by a certain agreement that we are not supposed to carry firearms. So when this skirmish happened, when this the scuffle happened, it was a hand-to-hand combat sort of a thing, wherein the need was felt and realized that it is very important for the men in uniform to be able to combat situations even without using firearms. Situation number one. Situation number two is that people in the defense forces, or people in the army specifically, when I say defense forces here, I mean army, because army is who I train. So a lot of times it so happens that given the constraint of the environment, given the type of operational area we are in, it becomes difficult, or rather next to impossible, to deploy the firearm or to use a weapon. So that is the time that the hold, chokes, grabs, restraining techniques, takedowns and all these things acquire a very important role. Hence, martial arts acquire a very, very important significance. The third thing is that apart from operational duties, the Army, Navy, Air Force or the Indian Armed Forces are also deployed in non-operational areas. For example, headquarters and training establishments which are not operational areas. So a defense personnel may not carry his personal weapon all the time. Let's say he's going to the office, or he's going for games, or he's going for PT. He's not carrying weapons. He's not deploying the weapon all the time because he's not carrying it. So at that point in time, he's going out on holidays with his family, he's going out on trips. There are a lot of things happening around his life, but he remains a defense personnel. So it is important for him or her to acquire these unarmed combat skills, so that in case there is a hostage situation, in case there is a kidnapping bid, or in case there is a scuffle or a skirmish or a quarrel or whatever, he is able to get out of that difficult situation using these unarmed combat skills. Recently I was just going through a news shot, and I came to know that there was one lady officer from the Indian Air Force, and I think there was a trespass in a house, and she tried to thwart away that attempt, and in the bid she was stabbed. Although she fought bravely, but then she was stabbed multiple times by this intruder, and she succumbed. So things like this happen. So it is very important for the people in uniform to be able to survive and save themselves from such situations even when they are not in possession of their firearm or their weapons. Reason number 4, martial arts training also improves regular military training. Now how? Well, if you know how to get into a fighting posture or a fighting stance or a fighting position, and you know the various angles of attack, and you know the various stances, and you know how to maintain balance on one leg as you kick, do your mawashigiri or a front kick or other techniques, you would also be able to use your weapon effectively, because you have better balance, you have better sense of mobility, you have better control, and your reflexes will improve. So martial art training is something which is not only important, but it is sort of unavoidable for anybody whose job is to protect. I appreciate all the comments on whatever videos I post. Thank you so much for that. There are certain comments, rather 97% of my subscriber or even non-subscriber who comment on my videos are positive. There are 3% which I will not call negative, but they are cynical or they are analytical also, which is also good because we learn from that. But then there are certain comments which are irrational and illogical, and they are just passing comments to which I don't bother to reply, because I really don't think it I have the bandwidth to devote time to such comments which have no sensibility behind them. Well, one of the aspects in I think 2-3 of my videos is that if somebody points a gun at your head, defending against it is impossible. Now, there are 2 things I want to tell. We have talked about the handguns and the rifles in my videos. So the videos on which I got comment was the handgun being pointed at the forehead. Now a lot of people say that why would he come close and point the gun to your head? Why wouldn't he shoot you from far? He can do that. Of course he can do that. If somebody decides to shoot me from, let's say, 10 meters, 8 meters, and I'm not even aware, obviously I'm going to get hit. Dying or not dying is, we don't know. You get a shot, you may just go off. Understandable. But we are talking of situation when it is possible, when you can do something about it. Let's say the firearm is here, all right? Now what happens? Why would this happen? Why would somebody put a firearm onto your head? It could be a situation when he says, hey, nobody moves, all right? Sort of a hostage situation. It could be a counter-terrorism sort of an operation which you are in, and there is a terrorist or there is an anti-national element who pulls out a handgun and puts it there and said, I'll shoot, nobody moves, no. Or he's come to release his friend who's hostage with the defense forces. N number of situations where the purpose is to threaten, and if this guy tries to retaliate, what he's going to do is going to press the trigger, and then you press the trigger. Now look at my finger when I press the trigger. Okay, here. All right. So what happens? It takes split seconds. It may get stuck also sometimes. That also happens. So it takes split second to press the trigger. So if the weapon was pointing at your forehead and you had no other, see, somebody in uniform cannot get into a bargain. Okay, I surrender, arrest me, or take my money, or take these weapons, or arrest whoever you want, or release your friend who's a terrorist. No. At least Indian Army doesn't do it. All right. So the moment it is pointed here and this guy gets into a conversation, you also get into a conversation telling us, and the moment you utter a word, his mind is distracted from the finger for, if not 1 second, then again 1/600th of a second. So you are at an equalizer now. Now if that happens, Thereafter, it is your skill and your ability to move the gun out. Another thing related to it is that people say that when I'm doing a gun defense or a pistol to the head, I don't go out like that, and I just do this. Now I'll show you. I don't know whether it makes the complete sense of what I'm saying to you or not, but then I'll make an effort. When the pistol is here or the handgun is pointing into my face or my head, what I do is I pull out the gun. Now doing this versus doing this, there are two actions involved when I do this and when I do this, or when I do this. But when I'm doing this is my natural response. I can push in more strength behind this maneuver, and also I'm focused only on one action, which is here. So when I'm doing this and when I'm not doing this, my movement is faster. So when I do this, my movement is faster and I'm able to disarm. That is why a lot of people might not have seen my head moving out, but actually when your movement is fast, you have a sort of a deflection out of the line of fire. But what is more important for me in the defense I do is taking the barrel out of my head first, then the head. So this comes quicker than this. A situation wherein there is some sort of unrest in some state and the army has been called. A lot of time it happens that there is violence and arson, and then the police is unable to control, and that time the army is called in. So at that time, revolvers are also used, all right, or spurious or weaponry is also used. At that point in time, if a revolver is used, it becomes very important for the person who's trying to defend to understand the difference between a pistol and a revolver. Now a revolver, when a revolver fires, I'll show you. When a revolver fires, it's an empty drum, okay, so safety has been taken care of. This is my licensed revolver, by the way. So when the trigger is pulled, there are two ways. So first time the trigger can be pulled back, and this is a faster operation. But still, if you see, it takes some time for the hammer to go and hit the cartridge. But if I press the trigger like this, then there are two actions involved. This is one and this is two. All right. So either he pulls the hammer every time and then fires. It's going to take time. It's not a cowboy movie that you just keep pulling back the hammer and keep firing. These are not those revolvers. So you have time. When the trigger is here, let's say, and somebody is pointing the gun here, even if you do this, now see, where's my finger? My finger is right between the hammer and the cartridge. Now even if you presses the trigger will not move and go and hit the base of the bullet here. Okay, it will not go and hit on the base, and the bullet doesn't get fired. So there is a chance of survival. So guys, as somebody in uniform and as a military person or as a defense person, you have to take a chance. All right, either you take life or you give life. It's simple, and there's nothing beyond that. So if you have to fight, you have to fight, come what may. Okay, lastly, I'll finish this video. I'm sure this video has gotten a little longer because I had things to speak about. The last thing which I would want to speak about is some people say this is not possible, this will not work, this will not work. I don't know what makes them think so, but I, being a combatant, I being from the army, being a person who has fired not 10, 20, 100 but thousands of rounds of various calibers, a heavy machine gun, a medium machine gun, a light machine gun, AK-47s, pistols, Berettas, and so many weaponry, mortars, rocket launchers. I've used all those weapons during my training and during my operational deployment. So with that experience, real-time experience, with that handling of the weapon and the handling of the ammunition, and seeing the battle or the conflict environment, I can vouch for it that whatever I do, I base it on reality. I think of the environment which I have seen, which is a real environment, and then I try and deliver the technique. I don't fasten the speed of my videos. I don't make videos especially to be posted on YouTube. We train, and there is somebody recording whatever we are doing, and then we post them. That's it. Now, if we had an intent of showing you the best, or showing you, all right, something which looks very jazzy and very cool, things would have been different. But it's organic. Some people say it's slow. Yes, it could be slow, but then it is hard. All right, even if I don't believe in doing 10 kicks. I believe in doing one kick, and then that one kick should be a force to reckon with, something which will bring down my opponent down. So then I need to tell them that how it's going to work. And also, please appreciate and understand that the military does not fight in tracksuits. Okay, the shoes which I wear while I'm training are heavy shoes. When I'm training the military, they are heavy combat shoes. I'm wearing trousers, military trousers, and the military jersey or t-shirt, belt. Plus, we are fatigued, we are tired. We're trying to paint a situation when you're fatigued, when you're tired, when there is a lot of stress, and that's the time you're firing. You're not doing all those techniques in a dojo, or you're not doing those techniques when you are in a controlled environment. It's an uncontrolled, crazy environment. That's what we create, and then we do it. So obviously your techniques will not be that speedy, all right, but they will be for real, and they will be organic. My martial arts journey began with karate. I'm a black belt in Shitoryu style of karate, which I don't normally use in combative except for strength, mobility, and stance. Okay. Then I have trained in wrestling, Indian freestyle wrestling and Greco-Roman style of wrestling during my school days. I have done boxing in the army. All right, and a lot of people say that I have more traits of a good boxer than a karateka. Then I have trained in Krav Maga and Kapap under the tutelage of Sensei Avinardia, and before that Avi Moyao, and also Kapap under Amit Heimstein, which was in Israel. I've been to Israel twice. I have learned Muay Thai, which I normally don't use in while I'm training the army, except for the low leg kicks and some bit of elbow work. I have no formal training in Kali. Okay, I attended one very small or a short seminar by Kit Esanas in India, which was for I think 3 days. So it was primarily on the Eskrima, or the Eskrima sticks, or the Kali, the Filipino Kali sticks. So I did that, but I have no formal qualification in Kali. Whatever I do, I have my own techniques which I have developed with the stick. I use that stick, yes, but the techniques I use are my technique, which I feel will work, which I feel my body responds to better, and can be applied in real life. All right. As far as knife is concerned, I have done knife fighting course under Sergeant Jim Wagner, a very famous reality-based self-defense expert from the USA. And I've done instructor courses in tactical knife and knife instructor course in Cologne in Germany, and that's where my knife fighting comes from. And also I've been practicing knife on my own. The various knife fighting which I show you with karambit or tactical folder or straight blades or even pen is based on my own research work, my own application based training, and over a period of time which I have realized that this is easier, this is going to work and would be effective. Then I have also trained in stick fighting in India from some of my students who are very good at stick fighting. When I say stick fighting, is the bow staff or the long stick, the Indian lathi. So I have done that, and apart from that, I keep experimenting in various combat styles and forms, and I don't get into too much of nitty-gritties because fighting is no rocket science. Anybody can fight. All we have to do is be efficient in what we do. Minimum input and maximum output, that should be the intent. And I think that is about me. Okay, one more thing I forgot to mention, that I have also been trained in Advanced Commando Combat System from Professor Major Deepak Rao. I appreciate and I openly recognize their efforts in training me. I am who I am because of all of these teachers. I'm sorry if I have missed anyone. I don't think I have, but if I have, then the intent was not that. Maybe it just slipped my mind. But then these are my teachers, some of the names which I just mentioned. And I have continued to progress, and I have continued to design my own techniques along with what I knew. And over a period of time, I have developed a module for the corporates, for the military, for the non-military uniformed, like the private security guards, the law enforcement agencies or the police, for the women, and also for the students. So guys, this is about me. I hope you like this video. I never asked you to like my video. If you don't like it, that's your choice. And I don't even ask you to subscribe it unless and until you really feel that it is worth subscribing to. But I'm open to your comments. But a humble request is that whenever you comment, please give me a logic or a reason and help me get better. Or even if you don't like my videos, tell me what is that you don't like, so that we can sort of do a sort of fault finding and do an analytics and find out as to what needs to be improved. So I am a soldier, all right, from the Indian Army, and I'm an infantry soldier from Garhwal Rifles, which is an elite fighting force of the Indian Army. And I take pride in being the officer from the Indian Army. And my last assignment was in Kashmir, and I was a field major then. Okay, my substantive rank was captain, and that's about me. And take care of you. Be a hard target. Stay safe, and continue to be there, and continue to support, and with your critical analysis and your kudos and your appreciations, I shall always be grateful to you. Thank you so much, and Jai Hind.